They're basically taking all the white male conservative talking points except for racism and adopting that, and that is becoming like this cult that is sucking black men in. So I'm not surprised to see Ice Cube doing this. I guess what's so confusing to me is he talks about in this video with Tucker Carlson, who is really one of the most awful people that has ever been given a platform to be on TV.
I tried to go on The View. They didn't have me on The View.
Why?
Well, a few of the guests just really didn't like where I was coming from. So, or a few of the hosts, I mean. So that's what I was told by the producers. I don't know if the producers was just copping out and using some of the hosts to not have me come on and explain myself, but
You'd be a good booking for them.
I've been on there before.
Yeah.
It's just when I've became an independent thinker, when I'm not, I don't follow their brand of politics, I guess.
All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. If you didn't know, now you know. Tucker Carlson recently sat down to do an interview with Ice Cube. Now, it was a two-part interview. In part one, they drove around South Central together, and Ice Cube was explaining to Tucker Carlson how much South Central has changed from when he was growing up there to today. And in part two, they dove deeper into the politics. Now, in part two, Ice Cube exposed that The View and Oprah and shows like this don't want Ice Cube on their platforms anymore. And it's funny because he's been on these shows before. But if you guys don't remember, in 2020, Ice Cube developed his plan for Black America, and he presented it to the Biden administration and the Trump administration. However, the Biden administration didn't really want nothing to do with him and his plan. They didn't really give him the time of day. But the Trump administration heard him out more, and they wanted to see where things could go with this plan for Black America. However, Trump was not reelected in 2020. But it just goes to show you that, and I say this all the time, these shows like The View clearly have a narrative that they have to follow in order to maintain their viewers, in order to stay on the air. They have to lean left. And ever since Ice Cube became a free thinker, they don't want anything to do with him anymore. Ice Cube definitely isn't a right-wing, conservative, extremist. He's nothing like that. Although there are people who seem to think that he's some sort of like closet Republican because he sat down and had a conversation with Trump. People honestly think that Trump was such a vile person that if you even sit down with him and have a discussion with him, that you're in on it and you're one of them, and it really is sad. It really is a shame. Ice Cube is, and what we'll see in this interview, and Ice Cube even says it himself, is that just because we disagree don't mean we can't sit down and talk. That's actually how you find some common ground. I mean, you would think that's common sense, but people are lunatics these days. But with that out the way, we about to get into this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe while we watching. Now let's roll it.
Again.
What platforms have banned you?
I tried to go on The View. They didn't have me on The View.
Why?
Well, a few of the guests just really didn't like where I was coming from. So, or a few of the hosts, I mean. So that's what I was told by the producers. I don't know if the producers was just copping out and using some of the hosts to not have me come on and explain myself, but
You'd be a good booking for them.
I've been on there before.
Yeah.
It's just when I've became an independent thinker, when I'm not, I don't follow their brand of politics, I guess.
But if you can't think for yourself, then you're not really free, are you?
No, you're not. You're not. But I've been excluded. I've been excluded on Oprah,
On Oprah?
On Oprah, yeah, I've been excluded. Yeah, man.
I would think you'd be the person Oprah would want to promote. I mean, you grew up in South Central, you were successful at a young age, you have dignity, you say what you think. Like, I thought that was the goal.
Me too. I don't know what it is, but, several of my, I had a movie called Barbershop,
Yeah, I remember.
That I wasn't invited to participate with the cast. I produced a show called Black White, and it was a very controversial show. And once again, they had the whole cast on, but I wasn't invited. And so I don't know.
On
I don't know what that's
on Oprah's show.
Yeah, so I don't know what that's really
But Oprah's obviously a saintly, godlike figure who's revered by all decent people. Why would she exclude you?
I really don't know. You know, that's something that I would love to find out. But I can't tell you, you know, if there's a single thing that I've done or said to her.
Have you noticed that it is more controversial to criticize Oprah than to burn the American flag?
Really?
Seems that way. I've never heard anybody criticize Oprah. Do you think it's political, or do you think it's deeper than that? I mean, you're not like a right-winger.
No.
No?
No.
You don't even seem that political.
No, I'm not really. I'm pretty much, you know, just want to do right by the people, you know. So if that comes through political means, that comes through the private sector, wherever it comes, you know, I'm down to work with whoever's down to do something right for the people.
All right, so there you have it, you guys. I think his closing statements really does sum up where he's coming from. Don't matter if it's the private sector or if it's political, he's willing to sit down and hash out a plan and work with whoever is willing to work with him. And that's how things went in 2020. You know, the reason why you saw things going further with the Trump administration is because they were actually willing to hear him out and, you know, potentially implement his plan or take some of the things from his plan. You know what I mean? And this is how you see progress. You know, you got to work with whoever is in power at the end of the day. You know, you have to sit down and have discussions with people who you disagree with. You're not going to always be able to live in an echo chamber and only talk to people who you agree with. Sometimes you gotta break that mold. You gotta step out of that echo chamber. And as far as The View and Oprah goes, I mean, him exposing that they don't want him on their show anymore, him of all people, him exposing that just shows what we already knew. It shows that these people have a narrative on these shows that they have to push, and they aren't really concerned about truth. They aren't concerned about those things. They're only concerned about their bottom line, and they don't want anybody on that's truly going to challenge them. If you don't go along with the narrative, if you don't go with the grain, they don't want to rock with you. I find it hilarious that people on the left and the hosts of The View are always talking about this is racist and that's racist. However, here you have a black man in Ice Cube, a successful black man, a lot of money, a lot of wealth. You know, he has plans and he's trying to help out his people and, you know, come up with solutions. And they don't want anything to do with him because he disagrees with them, because he sat down with Donald Trump, because he is willing to break some of the stereotypical molds that it means to be, that it means to be black, quote unquote. He's willing to step outside some of those barriers in place. And like he said, work with whoever is going to help get the job done. Whoever's going to hear him out, he's willing to work with him. So yeah, guys, just thought I'd share that with you. I thought this was interesting, and I might not agree with Ice Cube on everything. You know, don't mistake this for thinking that, you know, Ice Cube is a conservative and we need to get behind him and every single one of his ideas. But, you know, I was listening to Charlie Kirk and PBD speak, and Charlie Kirk said something along the lines of, nowadays it's people living in reality versus the people who aren't. And, you know, it's people who are willing to, you know, come to the table and have these type of conversations, and it's people who aren't. And sometimes you got to be willing to, as a conservative, to sit down and, you know, talk to people who even if they are on the left, or even if they are, you know, in the middle or non-political, you got to be willing to talk to people who don't always operate off their emotions, and who are more logically sound and just willing to have a discussion in the first place, you know, and maybe you can move the needle talking to someone like that. And Ice Cube is one of those people, you know what I mean? But that's all I got for you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought about this in the comments down below. And until next time, you guys, I'm out of here. Peace.